yeah, I'll put up, I guess this is the New York Times. So Johnson ousts Turner as intelligence chairman, bowing to Trump was the headline. Is that, how do you kind of read what went on here?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Two things. One, Mike Turner, he's a serious, thoughtful guy. He's a friend of mine, and he was unceremoniously dumped. That's an issue that kind of on a human level is a problem. But secondly, this is a national security problem, Connell. Mike Turner brought a thoughtful, objective viewpoint with regard to national security.
He's a conservative guy, right? Fair to say he's pro-Ukraine, though, and he's been tough on Russia.
Absolutely. And, he comes from southwestern Ohio. He's no liberal Democrat, but he just doesn't agree with everything that Donald Trump says. This is a complete MAGA move on the part of Mar-a-Lago to remove Mr. Turner. And I think that it portends bad things to come.
Such as, what's the actual risk when you see something like this? In your view, the practical risk associated with a move like this?
Look, Mike and I don't agree on everything, but one thing that Mike did repeatedly on the committee, behind closed doors, there are no cameras in the Intelligence Committee, is he held people accountable in the administration, regardless of who they were. And in the incoming Trump administration, we need somebody on our committee to lead the committee in holding Trump administration officials in the intelligence community equally accountable. This is very important. And so my concern is that if there isn't such a person at the head of our committee to do that, then bad things are going to happen.
I assume you're talking about Tulsi Gabbard. Is that the situation there, or Kash Patel at FBI? And is that who? That's it sounds like what you're referring to. I mean, do you think? I know you're in the House, but do you think the Senate even confirms some of those people?
Well, I've made my views known. I don't think that they are necessarily qualified to do the jobs for which they were nominated. On the other hand, John Ratcliffe, who was my colleague and friend from the House, I think that he should be the CIA director. I don't agree with him on everything, but he's within the 40-yard line, so to speak, of the mainstream thought on intelligence matters. For that matter, Marco Rubio, who was on Senate Intelligence Committee, another, I think, equally capable pick. But anyway, going back to Mike Turner, you need someone like Mike. Again, he's a Republican, but he's somebody who calls balls and strikes, Connell. That's what you need as the chair of the Intel Committee.
Right, and you mentioned Ratcliffe. I know it was in his confirmation hearing, he talked about when he was DNI, Director of National Intelligence, he'd done a lot against China, devoted a lot of resources, as he said in his hearing, to China. It does bring us to the question of TikTok.
Across the skies of the Northeast. Just after the new year, officials say an airport in West Hampton, New York, saw repeated drone sightings, including right over the runways. So they took steps to do something about it. And this comes after President-elect Trump last month vowed to release a full report on the sightings once he takes office Monday.
I'm going to give you a report on drones about one day into the administration, because I think it's ridiculous that they're not telling you about what's going on with the drones.
All right, senior correspondent Laura Ingalls live for us in New York. So, Laura, what more do we know about these so-called drone detection systems?
Hey, Nicole. Well, we are standing right outside the Francis Gorbeski Airport. We're in Suffolk County on New York's Long Island and West Hampton. And this is where officials have been reporting a very unusual amount of sightings around this airport. Our photographer, Greg, is going to push in and show you the control tower because that is where some of these calls have been dealt with. As we take a look at this airport, these incidents have occurred in highly sensitive areas, including over runways here, on taxiways and restricted airspace. And just this month, authorities have reported multiple sightings that have raised serious questions about who might be behind these flights and what the purpose may be. And to address the issue, a highly sophisticated system known as D-Drone has been installed here. The system uses radar, cameras, and artificial intelligence to track and pinpoint drones in real time. And officials here tell us it is a crucial tool for them for this airport, which is also home to the 106th Rescue Wing of the New York Air National Guard, making these sightings all the more concerning and adding to the growing attention. As you mentioned there at the top, President-elect Donald Trump recently addressed the issue, vowing to make these incidents a priority once he takes office. And locally, officials in Suffolk County are leveraging the new detection system to trace the origins of these drones and identify. Take a listen.
That detection system will allow us to help identify not only where these are taking off from, but also the IDs that are associated with these drones. And we're going to use that information to potentially go and knock on doors or locate the actual operator and have a conversation as to what they're doing.
As I mentioned, the Air National Guard is here next door, and what we've been told from some of these, quote, drones that have been spotted in the sky, when you think about drones that we are used to seeing, the officials here have said, just like we've heard before, Nicole, that some of these items have been the size of cars. They are very large. There was many spotted in the last few days, and on Christmas Day, 17 different sightings at this airport. Nicole?
Yeah, so a lot of questions, Laura. Next hour, we'll hear more from you, including some exclusive new video. So Laura Ingle reporting live for us. Thank you.
Big deal to be on this podcast with Don Jr. My question is, if he's showing interest, can we take that to mean that his dad will take it seriously in his new administration?
Well, firstly, good morning, Marky, and I certainly hope so. I can tell you that we're earnestly hoping that through Don Trump Jr., we can basically let the president know that the UAP issue is a priority for many Americans. People have had a gutsful with being gaslit and being told that they're not seeing what they're seeing. They want answers. They genuinely want transparency. And I think we're at a point now where with these witnesses we've got coming forward this weekend, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're putting out a story where we've got multiple witnesses who are giving first-hand evidence of a retrieval program of, believe it or not, and I know this is confronting, alien craft. The allegation is that the United States has recovered non-human technology. And I know that's mind-blowing, but for many Americans it will be confronting, but it's real, and it really is real. And I've been talking now for 2+ years to people who work inside this program, and they're really frustrated. They want America to know about this because they're very excited about these discoveries, and they think it's time the public knew.
I mean, you broke this story, for us right here on News Nation with your sit-down interview with David Grush. You have another big special airing this weekend that you just mentioned. And I wanted to air a little bit of that because you recently interviewed the Air Force veteran. His name is Jacob Barber. He's the whistleblower who says he was the helicopter pilot who retrieved UAPs for the government. Let's take a quick listen to what he told you and what he saw.
How long have you known this secret about unidentified, anomalous phenomena being of non-human origin?
For more than 10 years. We did recover things that were exotic in nature in the sky, and we know they were classified craft. And we recovered them and took them back to where they go.
Now that is clearly technology that is certainly not known.
I got within 150 feet of this object.
We are not alone.
We are not alone.
I mean, Ross, wow. I mean, more than 10 years. What about his story stood out from the countless other interviews that you've conducted over the years?
It's his credibility. The man is a former Tier 1 elite military serviceman. He's worked at the highest levels of the US military. And in order to prove that, we spoke to colleagues of his who are members, or former members rather, of Delta Force, like one of the most elite military units in the US military. And they are telling us this man is an absolute straight arrow. He's decorated, he's well recognized, well respected, and more importantly, they corroborate. We have people who corroborate this man's story that he was involved involved in retrievals on a place he calls the Range. Out of respect to the government, he's not revealing exactly where that is, nor is he revealing the intelligence agency that he was an operative for. But basically, he's saying that for many, many years, he was working for a three-letter intelligence agency in the United States involved in the retrieval of alien spacecraft. And the incredible thing about this, Marky, is everybody shakes their head and goes, oh, this is nonsense.
Yes, this is crazy. Yeah.
I know. And I thought that too when I first started investigating this, but believe me, it's true. And I find it absolutely incredible because people in uniform, people at the highest levels of the intelligence community are telling me it's time that America knew this secret.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, to your point, why would these people who are so highly decorated with, such impressive resumes make any of this up? Some stunning claims. Can't wait to watch. Ross Coldhart, thank you so much, as always.
A pleasure always.